Hi. Okay, so it's not exactly much better, but we did what we could do here with the stream connection. And I'm not sure that everybody's really going to jump over to the new connection. So what do you guys think? Do you think that we should try to start the book today, or should we wait till next week? Maybe we should just do a general messages today. Alex, can you throw up a poll?
Sure.
Let's get the likes up for this live too. A DJ scratching the... Oh, okay. We appreciate the effort. Alex has been efforting. Please do the book. I don't hear anything. Is that happening for anyone else? Can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, so general, I hear you just fine. Okay, so we're going to throw up a poll here. Whatever you guys think, if we should do the book or the general. If we don't do the book today, we'll definitely do it next week. I can hear whatever you do is okay. I can hear you. General. Pile 3's energy will hop into the general messages. Audio is good. That might be true. That might be true. Okay, the sound is great. Even if the video kind of sucks, it sounds like the sound is coming through.
Yeah. The sound seems to be fine. If anybody else is having trouble with the sound...
What does your heart say? My heart says, I have anxiety. General. Okay, so I'm seeing more generals.
Yeah, I'm seeing book. There's not that many votes yet, but so the vast majority are saying we should start the book club next time. So maybe
Okay.
we'll do a general.
Okay, so if you just joined us, we've just decided to do a general message instead of starting the book, and then we'll start it next week so that the people who wanted to hear the book can hear the book. So maybe this was just a way of getting certain people over here. Some of you, like, I do feel that maybe pile number 3's energy is trying to jump into this general, because I saw always haunted, always partying and cock blocking, and I feel like that was kind of a remnant, so I'm going to move away from that, because I feel like somebody here is saying that they're haunted by that, but or they have like flashbacks or something here of some kind of party situation, or unless you don't think that that's pile number 3's person. Well, let me just shuffle this deck. Okay, so Spirit, for general messages, nothing to do with pile number 3, if at all possible here. What wants to come through? Just generally speaking, what wants to come through here? Okay, I'm seeing actually from a deck that I don't even have over here, I'm seeing the Liberator card. Let me get a different deck. Let's see. All right. Okay, so Spirit, what general messages do you have for us? Just in general, Spirit. Whoa. Rejection. Okay, so it says build your confidence by dating a lot and find out what people like about you. Fear and loneliness. You stay in bad relationships because you are lonely. Be okay with being yourself. So maybe somebody here, this could be yourself or somebody that you're dealing with. So just take that however it resonates. But I feel like for most of you, maybe this is trying to speak to you, that there's maybe a confidence issue here. And possibly somebody here is staying in a bad relationship because, and they feel like, or they're being like lonely, or they're feeling really lonely because there's like a confidence issue. I'm hearing like being afraid of being judged, being afraid of being rejected. What do you want to say about that, Spirit? Rushing and too hard. Maybe for some of you, you felt like you rushed a relationship, and then maybe there was like a pregnancy or a family. Yeah, too hard, too much, and self-neglect. So it put you in a situation where things have been just too hard and too much for you to deal with, and maybe it was like all happening too fast. Yeah, rushing. You can't hurry love. The right one is coming in perfect divine timing. So yeah, there's a lot of confusion here around maybe how to date or how to approach this. And it's because you have a lot of experiences that are kind of like all congealing in your brain. And I mean like actually literally in your brain, because your brain tries to learn lessons. And so it'll try to keep you safe by saying like if anything seems too familiar, even in a way that you don't kind of consciously pick up on, a lot of your brain picks up on these kind of subconscious details that aren't really even registering, then you might be, kind of moving away from that. Oh, look, being needy. Yeah, so I think that maybe for some of you, like whenever you get into a relationship, you either like your partner is really needy, or again, for some of you, I feel like maybe there was like a pregnancy early on, or there was something rushed that you weren't ready for, commitment, or like children or something, like where even the relationship was like premature and couldn't actually support that level of stress and needs and change. But or for some of you, it's just like your partner is just like extremely needy in a way that you are not equipped to handle. And maybe some of these partners have needed actual professional help, like addiction counseling or something like that. And so you're feeling like kind of gun shy. Yeah, about like the expectations. What's going to be expected of me? You know, if I get into a relationship, like what are your expectations? Because I feel like that was something that was not discussed up front. Maybe in your other relationships, and you felt kind of blindsided around the neediness. Either like for some of you, it's an actual child that was like produced and it's like, oh my gosh, this is 24/7. This is all the time. It just added a whole lot of extra stress that I really wasn't prepared for. This young child can't exist without me. Like there's a lot of needs that are going on here. But for some of you, it's like there's real neediness in your partner and they came across like maybe they didn't have this need or maybe they didn't have this nature. But, oh yeah. Okay. I just heard somebody describing like the nature of a healthy relationship where it's like in something here about, compatibility. Okay. Yeah. About compatibility, where she did such a great job of explaining that she believes in a kind of like spiritual higher level compatibility without believing in like twin flames necessarily, where some people just think that, you know, if you do the work in a relationship, you can make it work with pretty much anybody. But she was talking about how when she healed from a lot of her childhood wounds and certain patterns that were making her life and her love life like really unhealthy, that she realized that that's not true, that there are genuinely people that you are more compatible with. And she was referencing this couple that didn't seem to share the same values, and it's a famous couple, so they're kind of on the record saying, oh my gosh, they're like laughing about how they don't agree on like most things. And she did a good job pointing out that like I think that they have different values and that's not really what you should compromise on. And she was saying now that she's older and she's matured and she's healed in a lot of ways, that just being with somebody who has that many different values than you just kind of like gives her the ick, and she feels drained and exhausted already. So there is like this certain kind of threshold of compatibility where it's like we want the same things, we believe in the same things, we hold ourselves to the same like, you know, values, and so that makes us kind of compatible. And so the relationship actually does become easy. And that's what she was saying, is she's like, now that I'm in a healthy relationship, like the relationship is easy, life is hard, but it feels like we're on the same page and it feels like we're on the same team. And she was like, I'm going to make a statement here that like a lot of people don't agree with, but your relationship should feel easy. She said your relationship should make your life easier. And she was mentioning how she's like in a neurodivergent relationship where they each have like their own issues. And she's, I think, like handicapped or something like herself. So she's like, we have things that we have to deal with that do kind of make things difficult, but the relationship itself, like we make life easier. Your partnership, like if your partner is actually helping out and pulling their weight, it should make life easier. Life is the thing that is kind of hard. So I think that's the thing that you're kind of, it feels like not able to verbalize, or that's the thing that kind of, it peaks up as confusion where you're like, I mean, do I want a relationship? Because it feels to me like maybe a relationship that you were in or something here, it amounted to a lot of hard, and it amounted to a lot of like, you know, I want to try and like kind of make things work. And she also outlined like the differences between, okay, like there's a certain relationship where there maybe is some like compatibility, but the love itself is kind of toxic, but it's like moving towards a healthy love. So you can call that a soulmate relationship and healthy, but it does require like a lot of energy, and possibly the two people in that connection are not really on the same level. Like one of those people maybe could be single for a while and actually level up and heal a lot faster than they can actually in that relationship with their partner, where they might overlap like in regards of their wounds, and that might actually be the better path. And then once they heal, they can actually just enter into a healthy relationship from the jump and just have a healthy relationship. And she was saying that there's a lot of information and a lot of talk out there about these kinds of relationships where it moves from toxic to healthy. And that makes sense because that's where therapy kind of really is supposed to intervene. That's why you go to a therapist, is because you're having a struggle, right? And so they're trying to figure out how to triage relationships. And so that's what a lot of the research and a lot of the language is like, how do we resuscitate this or save this or help this? But there are a lot of relationships that are like healthy. You can have a healthy relationship like from the jump, you know? And she was saying, I think we need to normalize like not necessarily healing from childhood wounds into like your 40s and 50s. not like, I think a lot of us, we're kind of a part of this wave because this is all very new in society where we're able to talk about and we're able to even connect to like, well, attachment styles and the way that a home environment was set up in your childhood really does impact your actual brain and the way that you see things. And so I feel like a lot of us are on this kind of like first wave of like normalizing this. And so we are doing that work more consciously a little bit later than a lot of people are able to do that now and kind of piecing the pieces together. And I think it is like genuinely a lifelong journey. And actually, I know I said that I wasn't going to start reading this book, but I feel like this is a good time to read this. Like there's a part of the preface, this one paragraph that I find so eloquent and I wanted to read because she says, this is Melanie Beattie, the author of Codependent No More. She says, the longer this lifetime goes on, the more convinced I am that our primary responsibility in life is to find a way to make peace with ourselves, our past and our present, no matter what we face and no matter how often we need to do that. It's also our job to mindfully practice self-love every day for all of our lives. It's not a narcissistic or obnoxiously selfish attitude towards life and our relationships. Self-love is a humbler, quieter thing. You'll get used to it. I like it. You may too. So I feel like it's definitely like that's kind of, a different thing. But yeah, she was talking about how, I don't know, I think maybe that's for those of you that are kind of like feeling exhausted and you feel kind of pulled into where you're like, well, I do want a relationship and I want a healthy relationship, but maybe I have to do like a lot of work to kind of get to a healthy relationship. Well, if you're a person that's been kind of healing and you've gotten yourself out of obnoxious patterning and like things that where your attachment style's in the driver's seat or something that you're having to go through is in the driver's seat and you realize it's lying to you and you've built, taken the time to build like healthier kind of energy. And like she said, building your own life that functions on its own. And then like the relationship is this kind of extra thing. You don't expect it. You don't need it, but it's nice if it comes along. And it's also, it should be healthy because it should contribute to your life in some way. It should make your life easier. A partner implies that they're doing 50% of the work like that halves your energy expenses. And that's in an aggregate form, like over the course of your life. It's not this weird transactional tit for tat kind of thing because maybe you're sick for a week and a half and, you can barely drag yourself out of bed for a shower or something. But, it's like things like that kind of happen. But so I feel like maybe you've been in those kinds of relationships that were either outright toxic, but you didn't know how to find your way out of it. Or it was toxic, maybe moving towards health, but maybe you were wanting to move faster than your partner. And it was kind of this like leash on you where then you always have to run and firefight their needs, and it just took a lot out of you, or I don't know. So let me just see. Love is the answer. Love won't solve your problems. You need to work on being independent. So yeah, I think that's Spirit is saying like that should be the focus, is this kind of like independent life or this independent happiness. And that might be the answer to the exhaustion, actually, and dealing with the actual exhaustion. Like I think Spirit is saying that love isn't the answer to the exhaustion because it might be toxic, it might not. But if you come from it like from a place of neediness, you might not be able to see it. But I think a lot of you are already working on this, or you already have the like, I'm definitely getting like you're already working on this kind of like independent thing. And it's not, I've noticed that a lot of people that trivialize and minimize the stuff that we're trying to do here. So like that really toxic kind of manosphere space, they try to, I don't know, say like that this kind of paint this in a messy light of like actually working on yourself and being independent. And they'll build a straw man of what we're actually trying to say. And they're saying that they don't need men and that they don't need love and that they don't need relationships. And it's like, what a thing to do to kind of warp somebody saying, I need a healthy partner into, I don't want any men. Like it really is kind of just like saying, I don't feel like I need to do the work. Like there's some subtext there that's like kind of getting lost, but it's this kind of intentional, I feel like not hearing. It's a defensive stance. Like you're not hearing what's being said. Like I need a healthy partner or no partner because I'm not cleaning up your mess, and that's just having healthy boundaries. Yeah. Holding on. Must release old patterns in order to have a fresh start with someone new. Yeah. So I think that self-love is a humbler, quieter thing. Yes. Yeah. So I feel like that's what you're doing. And there's maybe some unworthiness here. You deserve an amazing relationship. Take steps to heal doubts about yourself. And I feel like maybe that path to independence in some way is the path towards like healing those doubts about yourself. And again, we're back to rejection. So it's kind of like full circle because yeah, and I think some of you are afraid of being rejected. But I think maybe that fear would go away if you went on some kind of like journey here. And I am seeing somebody in this, I think I lost it. Oh no. See how he's like climbing up this mountain, but this kind of looks fun. And like there's light at the top of it. So I feel like this journey is going to be hard, but kind of rewarding at the end. Some of you are feeling something here is too risky. You feel like it's not worth the risk, but opening your heart is a risk worth taking. Yeah, because tolerating abuse. Any kind of abuse is not okay. You deserve someone who treats you well. Yeah, feeling unloved. So maybe some of you have been in situations in the past where it makes you feel unloved because there's some like level of noxious like dynamic going on here. Untrue stories. You tell yourself bad things, change your stories, and see that good things can happen. And then feeling unloved. So maybe there is some level of like feeling unloved. I just saw a habits card. I don't know if I will ever change, and then losing yourself. You feel lost in your partner. It's okay to be yourself and have your own life too. Yeah, this feels like practicing healthy detachment is the answer. But maybe detachment, I don't know. I kind of feel like probably not with this group of people, but like maybe detachment has been like a bad word, or there could be still some kind of like lingering thoughts about that. Like it's important to be able to detach. Maybe this is a group that's like, if we're fighting, like we're fighting it out, like don't you leave this room. But sometimes you need to detach in order to kind of reset and regroup and restart and allow people to assert their own boundaries and stuff. And not force somebody to be in an unhealthy state in an unhealthy situation, trying to solve something, not in their like best self. I don't know. Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of healing, but also just rest. Because again, like exhaustion is really kind of coming through here. Losing yourself in judgment. Yeah. Maybe this is a group that kind of loses themselves in judgment and then tolerates abuse. But there's different kinds of abuse and not all of it's like kind of obvious. Okay, yeah, so there's one message. I think I'm going to get into a different message here. Okay. Okay, I actually think this is kind of continuing on because it's like you can't jump from one kind of situation and dynamic to another situation and dynamic and have it be entirely fresh and new and like stand in your power. And yeah, there's got to be some learning that goes on here about how to move slow and how to offer something like real and tangible. Yeah. Like there's a lot, I feel like for some of you, there's a situation that you're scared of, and it's either because you sense it coming or like maybe you're just scared of love and connection in general because it's always kind of come with bad things. It's always come with some level of instability, but that's because of like, I feel like this attachment thing, like the patterns that you kind of learned or attach yourself to. But as you're unlearning those patterns, I do feel like these relationships will kind of shift and change with you, or you'll catch on like sooner. Huh. Yeah, and there is like defensiveness about some kind of truth and about some kind of like secret something or something that's causing anxiety like in a secret kind of way. So there is like a defensiveness around it. Because it's weird. This is a group that wants to change and I think has already done some work towards changing here. But there's like an anxiety, there's a fear still. And then there's kind of like this defensiveness. There's also a tiredness. Oh my gosh, yeah. Because I feel like this is a group that either has somebody that they need to apologize to and certain things that they need to take ownership over, or like nobody did that for you. Like you still haven't heard like an apology or something. So it still feels like something's kind of open, like kind of left wide open here. And it's kind of draining your energy. Okay, so yeah, so I think even if like somebody's stable and like King of Pentacles and really healthy and stuff like showed up, then I think, and even offering like everything like teamwork, love, and I think part of you would still be like scared. Yeah, because of the past here. So what are you saying, Spirit? They're just saying this was a lot and it was a blow to the stability, to the pentacles. So it could have blown out your finances, your home, your foundation, your, and I think some of you are, okay, maybe I'm hearing judgment. Okay, so for some of you, there might be a path opening up in front of you where you're kind of able to deal with judgment, but it's because in some past situations, you got that foundational energy blown out. Like if there was a messy breakup here or something, it affected your finances, it affected your living situation, it affected maybe like your kid's schedule or the things like maybe even your job or the things that made you feel like rooted. It could have like affected your assets. And that was like big and that's traumatic and that stays with you. And so you want love, but you don't want to risk your assets. And Spirit's saying, so non-traditional relationship then? And maybe there's something here where you're like, well, no, because I want a traditional relationship. And I think you can have that, but it's like, how can you protect your assets, your foundation, your stability? That's something to kind of like think through here. And in doing so, I think there might be some kind of reckoning is what I'm getting with how you left yourself. I think some of you are going to start seeing this differently in the past. Because I think you're like, oh my God, I think you'll start to kind of see like, oh my God, I left myself like entirely wide open. And don't be afraid of a little negotiation, because I think maybe that's also the exhaustion here. But an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, because I feel like you're kind of up here negotiating like as things kind of move along. And maybe some of you actually feel like that'll kill the love. You know, if you're like, no, I don't want to move in with you, or you can move in, but I'm not putting you on the lease, or like, this is my lease. This is my apartment. So that if you say that they have to leave, and you're not getting kind of lost in like the lovey-dovey stuff. And I think some of you, there's some kind of like reckoning with that, like what is the love and how does love kind of behave? And I don't know. And that is like kind of mixed with self-love, but I'm hearing like there's certain things that you just don't have to do if you're scared of that. And maybe that's like where your boundary is. And for some of you, I think even just saying like, yeah, I get to say no. And I trust myself to say no. And if they want to leave, then they can leave. I feel like for some of you that just like left like a big, yeah. Cause some of you feel kind of controlled by love, where you're like, well, I don't want to offend you. And I don't want you to think that I don't love you if I just stand up for my boundaries. So there's still some things that have to be like kind of pulled apart here. Yeah. I don't know how else to say it. There's just betrayal trauma here. This is the lingering effects of that. And it's something that you're probably going to always have to work through whenever you're engaged with other people just in general, but especially romantic relationships where you're talking, merging your lives and your assets and things. Somebody can really hurt you that way. And yeah, maybe some of you, I think you have to kind of also withstand like, well, what does this mean? Do you not love me? And I think that that you holding a certain boundary doesn't mean that you don't love them. But I think that like you have to kind of move that apart, and maybe so does this other person. I don't know. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave that there. And we'll start the book next time. Codependency, no more. Sorry about the technical difficulties, and thanks for jumping over here for those of you that did. And yes, always be independent, even when in a relationship, have your own life, hobbies, and prenup. Yeah, and even if you do want to kind of merge those things, Pentacles moves slow. Right? All of those things are in alignment with the Pentacles. Pentacles move slow, and that's for a reason. And and that's part of self-love and not self-abandoning in a situation and putting your needs below somebody else's feelings, because I think that's kind of what it is. It's like, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings, and then you feel kind of exhausted. It feels like preemptively. You're like, oh gosh, like then they're going to hurt their feelings and then I'm going to have to do this, and it's like, I don't know. It feels like even just having a stance of having your own back, where you're like, okay, I'm going to date, I'm going to have fun. And if somebody gets the wrong idea or starts trying to move into your house or something, just trusting yourself to be able to hold that boundary and make up your mind ahead of time, where it's like, if somebody is not respecting that boundary, or if they get like manipulative in a weird way, and you can't kind of, they aren't respecting that it's like your decision to make, or like where your boundary is, then that gives you a lot of information about who that person is, and you can be grateful that you found that out before you like lost everything or something. I don't know. All this stuff is like so hard to kind of like parse through. So, okay. That's what I have. Thank you guys so much for spending some time here on this Friday. Actually, I do have candles, because I didn't show you guys the winter candles. So I do have that. And I want to say that, for those of you that are on Patreon, we have a live stream tomorrow over there. And it's, how appropriate what your next relationship would be like. What a perfect segue. Sometimes the readings do that. So what's your next relationship going to be like? Okay, so let me just reach over here for those of you that are interested in some candle stuffs. Okay. All right, I think I got all of them. We have quite a bit, actually. Okay, so our candles here. Thank you. Bye, guys. So first of all, our candles are all the cleanest ingredients that we can find, which does account for the price. So we have 100% soy wax, which means that it's not cut with like paraffin wax, which is a petroleum product, or anything like that. Also, a lot of waxes that say that they're 100% soy wax, they also have other additives in it in order to make the wax kind of smooth. But we go with a wax that doesn't actually have those additives in it. So when you look at our candles, they have like natural kind of rough spots and things like, but I actually think that that adds to the charm, and they don't look bad or anything like that. We take the time to kind of smooth it out. We have clean wicks, cotton wicks, because a lot of times they will be cut with like metals and things like that. And so then when you burn it, it's going into your space. And then it comes in a really nice little apothecary jar like this. These are our scented candles, and the label here it's just on there with this kind of golden tape. So you could actually take this off, because we have to sell them with the label. But you can take this off and just kind of fold it up, keep it somewhere. But that way you don't have any kind of label on your jar. And these are actually really nice to reuse for a lot of different things. And so that's that. So the first scent here, this was our first, I think maybe candle ever, actually. Was it? It might be, but it was definitely one of the first ones. And this is Midwinter Night. It genuinely smells like if you got lost in a forest, in a magical, happy forest, like near the North Pole with the Aurora Borealis above you. It smells so just like light and pepperminty and kind of crisp. There's like a happy snow, but kind of clearing out your sinuses. It's good. There's some menthol, eucalyptus kind of vibes there too. Like, yeah, so it's Midwinter Night. That's Midwinter Night. And the next one, I actually have this one burning in my house right now. This is called Saint Nick, although we might change the name of it. Nope.
That's what it's called.
Okay, so Saint Nick. This one...
That's what we changed it to.
Oh, that's what we say. Yeah, okay. Because it used to be called Sage Nick, for those of you that remember this one from last year. And that's because this really does smell like, it's got like a frankincense and myrrh vibe, which kind of brings in the holiday season. But it's very, it's very much like meditation. It's incensey. Yeah. Like, but like if you picture Santa Claus, like meditating, like as like kind of a sage meditating, like that's kind of what this smells like. And I think that this is truly an underrated scent, genuinely speaking. Like it didn't do the sales that really it should do, because it's such a good scent. It kind of smells also like, when you burn, when you boil those, like the pine needles with like the cloves and the stuff like on the stove. This smells like that, but without having to do that. And it's just so, it's somehow still so festive. And it's got a really natural scent without being like earthy or anything like that. It's also kind of like maybe old school holiday. What's Little Women? The movie Little Women? It kind of smells like what I imagine their house might smell like. I don't know. Yeah, it's good. I feel like this is kind of a classic scent. It definitely smells like kind of more natural, but it's not in like an earthy, musky, floral, offensive kind of way. It smells kind of like frankincense and myrrh. And I really like the smell of frankincense. If you've ever like smelled that, I used to just burn like plain frankincense, but it has that kind of like vibe to it. So that is Saint Nick. And okay, Sugar Plum, this is a new one for this year. Yes, it is. We didn't sell this last year.
Yes, we did.
Did we?
Yes.
I thought we came up with this year.
No.
Like it was earlier this year.
Nope.
Okay, never mind. I know it was a long time ago, but I don't think that we... Okay, so I guess maybe we did this one.
Who makes these things?
So pine smell too? Yeah. Okay, we haven't gotten to the piniest one yet. And Nordic Night does have like a lot of
Midwinter Night.
Or Midwinter Night, yeah, has a lot of that. Okay, so you're welcome. Okay, so yeah, Sugar Plum. This smells like Sugar Plum. This smells sweet, but this is how would you describe this? It smells like a plum. It smells like Sugar Plum Fairy Land. It does have, it's not sweet like a cookie or anything like that, but it does have like a kitchen kind of baking kind of thing to it, but it's like a fruit, it's crisp, it's it kind of is what it smells like. Sugar plum fairy. Yeah. Okay. So the top scents are orange, lemon, raspberry, and plum. Yeah. The middle scents are sugar, ginger, apple, cinnamon, and cranberry. And the bottom scents are allspice, nutmeg, clove, vanilla, and fir. Right? It's good. Maybe I should read you these scents here for the other ones too. So Midwinter Night, the top scent is eucalyptus, lavender, peppermint, and spearmint. The middle is bayberry, cypress, pine, cedar, and clove. And the bottom is rosemary, oak moss, peppercorn, powder, vanilla, patchouli, tonka bean, and smoke. There's a lot in there. And then St. Nick is the top is bergamot, red currant, camphor, eucalyptus, orange peel, ginger, cinnamon. The middle is amber, fir, pine, clove, cypress. And the bottom is powder, oud, and myrrh. And then frankincense, olibanum, cedar, and patchouli. Okay, so that was a lot. I'm going to smell some more time. Yes. Okay, then we have classic peppermint cocoa. If you like the scent of a peppermint hot chocolate, and if that's what the holidays smell like, that's exactly what this is. I mean, it does what it says on the tin. It's just cocoa. It's
that one's a limited time.
This one's a limited time. So when we run out, we run out. So yeah, when we're out of this one, then we're out of this one. And then the last one, this is the Christmas wreath. This is the pine scented one. If you like pine and Christmas is like pine to you, then this is definitely like your go-to one. Also Nordic, or I keep calling it Nordic Night, Midwinter Night. Yeah, so this Christmas wreath, and actually my mother-in-law was just over here, and I had one of those like little fake wreaths out, and I had this candle burning because this is kind of the one that I pull out first every single year to kind of like get us in the Christmas spirit. This is the one I had lit when we were like decorating for Christmas and everything. But she came over and this candle had just been lit, and she leaned over and was like smelling the wreath. And I just thought that was so funny because she thought that it was the wreath, but it was just this like plastic wreath. And she was like, I smell a wreath. And I'm like, yeah, it's this. But yeah, so this just smells like pine. Yeah, I mean, it smells like pine. I'll read the notes to you. So the top is cypress, that cypressy kind of pine, lemon peel, eucalyptus. The middle is bayberry, moss, cedar, evergreen, and the bottom is amber, patchouli, incense, and fir. Yeah, it's good. It's well-rounded pine scent too, but it also has like kind of a fresh, it's that eucalyptus kind of scent. I really like that in my holiday candles for some reason. Yeah, so I want all these smells, all of them. Yes. So they are so good. They are so good. And are there any specials or anything, babe? Not right now? Yeah. Okay. So, but that's the 5. Oh, and then I also just wanted to mention Mama's House because I feel like Mama's House, I don't have that one here, but Mama's House is like a year-round scent, and it's one of our best sellers, and it's a classic scent, and it does smell like warm cookies out of the oven. But I do think of that scent around this time of year, like the fall and into the Christmas, and also like through the winter season, because it just smells so homey. And I've even had people like write us and say that like this is their kind of classic scent, and that their kids really like it too. And it's so funny because it's called Mama's House, and isn't that just like nice? Like if your kids are kind of like remembering that kind of like warm homey smell, like that was kind of the intention behind it, because it just smells like, I don't know, it just smells like Mama's house. Like, I don't know, the essence of like home and family and hanging out and love and cooking and baking, and it smells very much like that. Which, by the way, the pumpkin cookie, caramel cookie that we have more of, that's a fall scent, so that's not year round, but it's really good, and that has that same kind of classic Mama's House vibe to it, but it's got that more pumpkin kind of caramely vibe. So Amber is the color of her energy. Okay, so that's what I have. If you guys are interested, Alex dropped the link in the chat. So thanks for hanging out. Sorry about the technical difficulties. If you're on Patreon, I'll see you guys for the live stream tomorrow, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, guys.